A friend of mine on Facebook recently shared someone else's post. And I don't know the person whose post was shared, but it stopped me. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was so human and so true and so familiar. This guy whose post my friend shared on Facebook wrote about surprising his father after a year apart. And he flew across the world just to be with him, just to see him. And the father, after that initial welcoming, emotional, warm hug, just went out to mow the lawn, just like that, to do some gardening. And as he sat there alone in the house, he started to spiral, into disappointment, into stories, into how could he do that? And does he even care? Like, is he not happy that I'm here? Is he not appreciative? But instead of confronting, blaming, or withdrawing, or getting into any conflict, he just paused and he chose curiosity. He waited for his dad to come back in after he was done with the gardening. He made him coffee and gently asked, "Dad, I noticed that you went out to the garden instead of staying inside and catching up with me. How are you feeling right now? Or how are you feeling about this?" And what came out was something most of us never expect to hear, because the father said, "I just didn't feel like I deserved it. No one's ever done something like that for me before, and I didn't know what to do with all that emotion." And it was written beautifully. So I'm sorry if I'm not quoting everything word by word, but I think you got the point. Now, how many times in your life have you assumed the worst because you were hurting? I've done it many times, certainly. How often have you told yourself that someone doesn't care because they didn't respond the way that you imagined or expected them to? That they were cold or selfish or distant, when really they were maybe just overwhelmed or ashamed or scared or not to know how to receive love. We all do this. It's what the mind does when it doesn't get closure. It fills in the blanks in pain, especially when there's love underneath. And the tragedy is that most disconnection doesn't happen because we stop caring. It happens because someone feels too much, don't know what to do with it, or the other person interprets it in the wrong way, and then we shut down, we protect, we go mow the lawn, and then we blame that the other person doesn't want to connect with us or doesn't like us. That's what this story reminded me of. That behind so many of our hurt feelings is an unmet tenderness in ourselves and in others. And unless we slow down and ask the other or ask questions within, we'll keep living inside assumptions that aren't even real. This isn't just emotional, it's also physiological, because when someone feels deeply unworthy or unfamiliar with receiving love, their nervous system can go into freeze. Not because they don't care, but because they just overwhelmed or don't know how to receive. And the system can't metabolize the affection, so it diverts into distraction, tasking, or shutting down. It's not rejection, even though we sometimes misinterpret it, but it's not rejection, it's nervous system dysregulation. We think love should be easy to receive, But for many people, especially from older generations, that's my experience, or those raised without emotional safety, love is the scariest thing. Not because it's bad, but because it's just unfamiliar. What would happen if, just for a moment, instead of defending your heart, you opened it a little wider? What if instead of assuming someone meant to hurt you, you asked, what's really going on here? Because that moment of pausing your reaction and choosing curiosity is the birthplace of real connection. It's not about letting people off the hook. It's about choosing not to live inside stories that close your heart. And it's about remembering that most people don't reject you, or whatever feels like rejection is not always about you. They reject the part of themselves that doesn't believe that they are worthy of your love. And maybe you do this too. Maybe someone offers you kindness and you brush it off, or a compliment and you don't know how to respond, or someone shows up for you and you keep busy instead of receiving it. What if you asked yourself, where do I still feel unworthy of being loved for no reason? Where do I reject love because it feels too big for my nervous system to hold or to receive? This isn't about blame. It's about awareness, about gently expanding your capacity to stay in love, in presence, in possibility. So the next time someone disappoints you by doing something or saying something or not doing or not saying whatever you expected them to, or surprises you or shows up differently than you'd hoped, pause. Breathe and ask, what else could be true here? What might they be feeling that they don't yet know how to express? Or what conversation could open us both up? Because the people who matter aren't always trying to hurt you. Sometimes they're just trying to survive the beauty of being loved. And you have the choice to meet them, not with blame, but just meet them halfway. And instead of blaming, understanding them. And that might just change everything. If any of this resonated with you, save the video, share it with others, like, and subscribe for more Hope This Year. And take care. Bye-bye.